It's hard, I've been scarred from out fighting. Waking up, stomach is starved, I keep grinding. 6 a.m, life isn't hard, I keep reciting. It feels like I might fall apart, I keep trying. Sun's coming up and the glare is so blinding. I'm sick of hearing and seeing all of the people whining. You want something good, then you better go put the time in. You get what you pay for and time is money, we climbing. It's prime time, it's my time, I got it. I'll be just fine, my mind, you can't stop it. Give me a vine to climb and I'll top it. Grow yourself a spine, got mine, that's a promise. Take a deep breath and head towards the darkness. The light at the end wasn't put there by no novice. My hand I extend, so welcome to my office. No time to repent, we're building and not stopping. We're gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. And we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. Yeah, I'm the fucking shit. I'm gonna rule this world one day. Y'all finna know the name. I'm spitting game to the people who decide our fate. I'll make a name in history, be one of the greats. I've got the traits that you need to get past the gates. Man, I don't wait, I exceed every single day. A different breed, yeah, I put it on display. Got all I need, and it's up inside my brain. I will succeed, cause I tell myself that every day. Y'all will concede and remember the name. Shout out to Fort Minor, cause it's 50% pain. But that 5% of pleasure's why I'm still in the game. And I exceed every measure by hard work, I'll explain. It's early mornings and late nights. It's fight and sleep, that's the hardest fight. But when you sleep, someone's passing by. You better try harder and fight smarter to go farther. Become your own monster, called a self-starter. Take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. And we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. Yeah, I'm the fucking shit. It's hard, I've been scarred from out fighting. Waking up, stomach is starved, I keep grinding. 6 a.m, life isn't hard, I keep reciting. It feels like I might fall apart, I keep trying. Sun's coming up and the glare is so blinded. I'm sick of hearing and seeing all of the people whining. You want something good, then you better go put the time in. You get what you pay for and time is money, we climbing. It's prime time, it's my time, I got it. I'll be just fine, my mind, you can't stop it. Give me a vine to climb and I'll top it. Grow yourself a spine, got mine, that's a promise. Take a deep breath and head towards the darkness. The light at the end wasn't put there by no novice. My hand I extend, so welcome to my office. No time to repent, we're building and not stopping. We're gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole, and ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow, and we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole, and ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow, yeah, I'm the fucking show. I'm gonna rule this world one day, y'all finna know the name. I'm spitting game to the people who decide our fate. I'll make a name in history, be one of the greats. I've got the traits that you need to get past the gates. Man, I don't wait, I exceed every single day. A different breed, yeah, I put it on display. Got all I need, and it's up inside my brain. I will succeed, cause I tell myself that every day. Y'all will concede and remember the name. Shout out to Fort Minor, cause it's 50% pain, but that 5% of pleasure's why I'm still in the game. And I exceed every measure by hard work, I'll explain. It's early mornings and late nights. It's fight and sleep, that's the hardest fight. But when you sleep, someone's passing by. You better try harder and fight smarter to go farther. Become your own monster, call a self-starter. Take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole, and ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow, and we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole, and ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow, yeah, I'm the fucking show. It's hard, I've been scarred from out fighting. Waking up, stomach is starved, I keep grinding. 6 a.m, life isn't hard, I keep reciting. It feels like I might fall apart, I keep trying. Sun's coming up and the glare is so blinded. I'm sick of hearing and seeing all of the people whining. You want something good, then you better go put the time in. You get what you pay for and time is money, we climbing. It's prime time, it's my time, I got it. I'll be just fine, my mind, you can't stop it. Give me a vine to climb and I'll top it. Grow yourself a spine, got mine, that's a promise. Take a deep breath and head towards the darkness. The light at the end wasn't put there by no novice. My hand I extend, so welcome to my office. No time to repent, we're building and not stopping. We're gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole, and ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow, and we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole, and ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow, yeah, I'm the fucking show. I'm gonna rule this world one day, y'all finna know the name. I'm spitting game to the people who decide our fate. I'll make a name in history, be one of the greats. I've got the traits that you need to get past the gates. Man, I don't wait, I exceed every single day. A different breed, yeah, I put it on display. Got all I need, and it's up inside my brain. I will succeed, cause I tell myself that every day. Y'all will concede and remember the name. Shout out to Fort Minor, cause it's 50% pain. But that 5% of pleasure's why I'm still in the game. And I exceed every measure by hard work, I'll explain. It's early mornings and late nights. It's fight and sleep, that's the hardest fight. But when you sleep, someone's passing by. You better try harder and fight smarter to go farther. Become your own monster, call a self-starter.
Take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. And we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. Yeah, I'm the fucking show.
It's hard, I've been scarred from out fighting. Waking up, stomach is starved, I keep grinding. 6 a.m, life isn't hard, I keep reciting. It feels like I might fall apart, I keep trying. Sun's coming up and the glare is so blinding. I'm sick of hearing and seeing all of the people whining. You want something good, then you better go put the time in. You get what you pay for, and time is money, we climbing. It's prime time, it's my time, I got it. I'll be just fine, my mind, you can't stop it. Give me a vine to climb and I'll top it. Grow yourself a spine, got mine, that's a promise. Take a deep breath and head towards the darkness. The light at the end wasn't put there by no novice. My hand I extend, so welcome to my office. No time to repent, we're building and not stopping.
We're gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. And we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. Yeah, I'm the fucking show.
I'm gonna rule this world one day. Y'all finna know the name. I'm spitting game to the people who decide our fate. I'll make a name in history, be one of the greats. I've got the traits that you need to get past the gates. Man, I don't wait, I exceed every single day. A different breed, yeah, I put it on display. Got all I need, and it's up inside my brain. I will succeed, cause I tell myself that every day. Y'all will concede and remember the name. Shout out to Fort Minor, cause it's 50% pain. But that 5% of pleasure's why I'm still in the game. And I exceed every measure by hard work, I'll explain. It's early mornings and late nights. It's fight and sleep, that's the hardest fight. But when you sleep, someone's passing by. You better try harder and fight smarter to go farther. Become your own monster, call a self-starter.
Take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. And we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping.
the cue for the intro. Hey, welcome to the Redeye stream 59. Yeah, my voice is a little fucked up still, guys, but it is what it is. I'm back. This is Tarian finally speaking for himself. How are you all doing tonight? MC, what's up, dude?
It's another day in hell.
Well, you do live in Arizona, so fair enough. We also got, of course, our wonderful producer, Optimus Christ. Real quick, dude.
Yo.
No, guys, and if you like people hating on Bethesda, you'll love this motherfucker. Stream out his podcast out that he did yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Going over every little thing Bethesda did wrong. And we're still not done talking about it either.
Oh, good, because I want in on that shit. Because I like Bethesda. Call me a fanboy, but I want my Elder Scrolls, motherfucker.
You know what? You should have stuck around.
I should have. I bounced out. I was sick. But I'm feeling better today, other than the voice. But Jensen Quinn, you've been a wonderful fucking host. You've been filling in for me for a couple days. How are you doing, brother? You don't have the fucking responsibility today.
Hey, I don't have to do anything. I like this.
Memes.
And of course, yeah, he's memes. Yep. And of course, we got.
Oh, I'm asking, where's memes? I some unfinished business with memes.
Oh, really? Oh, all right. Well, that should be good. Memes will show up. He always does. And here, Wolf Shot. How you doing, Wolfie?
Good. What's up, man?
Not much, man. All right, so I was watching some music clips of Sons of Anarchy, right? And no, I didn't rewatch the show. You know why? Because the last episode fucks the whole show up. Spoiler warning: Jax commits suicide. Like that would ever fucking happen. Like Jax would commit suicide. Fuck yourself. Stupid. But it got me thinking. Are motorcycle clubs a real issue still? They probably are. Are they a club? Are they a gang? Are they a mixture of both? Legend now, like, you know, the mafia of old. What do you guys think?
I think it's all three. I always thought that they were overrated as an issue. With some of them, yeah. Did they get large to where they had, nationwide kind of affiliations, which grew into larger issues? Okay, yeah. Rest were as big a problem as, like, would you say the mafia is? No. They were never as much of a problem as the mafia, at least not in my opinion. Do anything wrong, and that they weren't running guns and drugs, but I mean,
and prostitution and all sorts of other rackets. But at the same time, they're carrying toys to kids for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. It's weird how they did that. But not a real problem. Gun smuggling with the MCs from, like, let's say, Angels or the Mongols into, like, Belfast over in Ireland, funneling guns to the real RA. Wouldn't that be like an international terrorist problem?
I mean, okay, but how big? At what kind of level? I mean, when you say that they were smuggling in weapons, how many weapons are we talking about? 10, 15,000? You know,
I'm thinking either equivalent or more than Obama smuggled into Mexico.
I don't think that that's the case. I really don't. They were that large. I really don't.
Really? Why not? Like, this is my idea. Like, are they a real issue? I'm coming from the angle of all, you know, gangland on History Channel and all this other shit, you know? And we have a couple local MCs here in like Eugene and shit, but they never caused me no trouble. They never fucked with me.
Being killed in motorcycle club gang wars.
What about Las Vegas? Hells Angels and Mongols clashed, or no? Was that Sturgis?
Well, they've had it Sturgis, and they've done it at Bullhead City. They have had clashes. How many people died in those clashes?
People that weren't members of either MC, not many.
I didn't.
It wasn't like the gangland violence in the 30s, but like each other, quite a few got shot in that casino, right?
That many, not when you think about it. But what's more is like, okay, that happens every day in Chicago with the gangs. Which one's worse?
Well, of course, the white boys are worse. I mean, we all know this, right, Jensen?
Always that bloody way. At least someone's finally admitting the truth. Down with Whitey. I mean, whoops.
You see my point. I mean, in Chicago right now and in LA, there are people being murdered, all right, left and right. There's probably going to be a family where their small kid is killed because of a drive-by shooting. All right, I think that has a much higher or much more deadly consequences than what's going on with these motorcycles.
No, like that, what you just said, it does. First off, I want to break in with a joke before I go into something real. Doku in the chat says he's going to start a Vespa gang. Yo, brother. Yeah, let's ride those scooters, motherfucker. We'll be badasses. It'll be awesome. Pink one. Anyway, onto something a little bit real. Yeah, you want to talk about my cousin died in a drive-by. He wasn't in a gang. He was on the balcony smoking a cigarette for the downstairs apartment, and somehow they shot my cousin on the third story. At least white boys could fucking aim. Sorry, but it is what it is. Dude.
You see, but my point stands. All right. I mean, when you talk about the problems that these clubs and the fact that they're doing illegal stuff, and some of it's pretty serious, and some of it is. I'm not trying to say that it's not serious, but in the overall scope of things, to that level.
I mean, if you look at the history of like motorcycle gangs and motorcycle clubs in general, there was more motorcycle club violence in, say, like the 60s and 70s versus now.
Well, and here's the thing.
Even then,
real quick, MC. Even then, here's the thing we're not talking about. Most members of MCs are United States military veterans.
Yeah, I mean that's true too. But even then, the violence that was going on, how much of it was perpetrated on, how much of it was gang on gang violence? You know, motorcycle clubs going after other motorcycle clubs.
Yeah, that would be my point. Is that it was more gang on gang violence than it was anything to do with the public.
Well, don't you think that goes because they started out as veterans? I'm not saying they're all veterans now. I'm sure shit's gotten, ever since the fucking government cracked down, gotten way more criminal. You know what I'm saying? They're not going after their fellow brothers in arms anymore. But let's talk about the origin of motorcycle gang clubs. What? With Vietnam veterans, right?
I started way before then. What are you talking about? This stuff started back
in the 30s, the 20s or 30s.
So World War II veterans then, the 40s, right?
World War I, and then another influx after World War II.
Well, I'm talking mostly about the Hells Angels, the birth of the Angels. That was Vietnam veterans, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Might have been World War II.
No. Hells Angels came after World War I or World War II.
I think Hells Angels are introduced in 1930.
Then again, you kind of broke up a little, Sean.
I think in 1938, 39, some shit like that. I can't remember exactly when, but it started as a club, and all the illegal shit came later.
A lot of it was just like the one percenter attitude of I just want to be free and left alone. Saw the world for the first time, getting off of the farm. They were able to do things in the military that they can't do today. The freedom that you have in certain regards, all right, during a wartime zone, you don't necessarily have that in civilized society anymore, right? And so these guys just want to go out there, be free. A lot of them, Terry at one point was looking for pilots left and right, and there was a lot of people that learned to fly. When they come back to the United States, yeah, there's things in the civilian sector, but especially because of transportation, but there weren't big transportation, flying groups back then. So what did these guys that were highly trained, what did they do? They like the freedom, they like to go fast, and the wind in the hair kind of mentality, kind of viewpoint. Motorcycles fit right on in with that. And so, an explosion of these clubs as the drugs and everything else that goes along with it. Well, I mean, these guys are veterans, like you were saying initially. They're not afraid to mix it up. That's the reality. So if somebody pushes them, they push back. Reputation, yeah, some of it was deserved, yeah, but a lot of it wasn't, because it was, let's be honest, it was freaking overplayed by the media. I mean, the media, especially the Hollywood, I mean, they're the ones that to create all the portrayals of the motorcycle clubs.
Well, mainly it was that author, right, that embedded himself with the Hells Angels. Initially, he viewed Sonny, right, the president.
Well, that did take place. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't know how much of an effect really that did have.
I think it kind of gave the glorified image, don't you?
Well, probably to an extent, but to be honest, it was what was his name? Marlon Brando's portrayal in that one movie. Well, was a big proponent of that. I mean, when you think about it.
Oh, what was that movie? I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
I mean, so Hollywood had more to do with, basically they were the quote unquote new cowboys. The era was over. Well, that freedom, that leveling kind of mentality on your own, that the cowboys always had, now got transferred into the motorcycle club. Let's be honest, when it came to being cheap and for, motorcycles were relatively cheap, especially in comparison to automobiles back then. So it gave people a lot of, personal mobility. You could go out there, you threw your freaking rucksack on the back, you threw your, you put out your little pop-up tent with it, right? And you could live off the land and travel from one end of the country to the other. Dirt cheap at that time.
Well, do you think it was like almost like the Western mentality, like the old, the Wild West?
I think initially it was a lot like the Wild West. And then the criminal elements, of course, with everything creeps into it. But I think that came up far later. That was like in the 60s, right? Little shot? Started to get in the 60s, 70s?
I would think that it started in like the 50s, and then it kind of, you've got this like surge of other rival biker gangs in the 60s and the 70s where it all kind of spilled over into the mainstream media. What they were doing. It kind of petered out.
Yeah, I would agree that's probably accurate. So, and at that point, now they start taking on more negative connotations, more negative dimensions to it. So, Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta grab something here.
All right, well, now I'll go with this. We'll shut. Doku in the chat says Antifa versus the 1%ers. He'd pay to see that. What kind of fight would that be? That'd be like, no, I know what kind of fight that'd be. That'd be the Hells Angels at fucking, God damn, what was that concert?
Oh, The Who. I think it was The Who.
But it was during that big hippie fest.
Stab somebody.
Yeah.
I think it was a The Who concert where one of the Hells Angels stabbed somebody. Fucking fight.
Yeah, but the person that got stabbed was fucking around. And Doku, I think that buzzing is my computer for some reason. Side open. I don't know why my fan's acting that way. Hopefully everything's fine.
Biker gangs are going to be a damn sight more interesting when they start fitting forward-fire miniguns and rear-mounted mine droppers.
That could be interesting. I mean, that might be the next stage of evolution. I don't know. I mean,
there's no might be in it, mate. That is the next stage. Not joking. Mad Max had it right. I've said this for a little while. This is what biker gangs are going to eventually evolve into.
Well, the thing is, there's such a big mythos around them. But then again, they help people out as well. They're not these giant villains, right?
I agree, mate. I've seen a video on YouTube. Apparently some little girl was getting bullied at school. And so the local biker gang took her to school that morning. And for some strange reason, their bullies decided not to do anything.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, and they do the Toys for Tots run, like I brought up before. They do a lot of good stuff as well. But the implication is by the media that they do the good stuff to cover up the bad. Maybe the Mafia tried the same thing, right?
In all fairness, people, no matter what group you're a part of, there will be another group out there that will try to make you seem bad. Now, I'm not saying that the Hells Angels are good guys. I'm not saying they're bad guys. They're people. They do their own thing. Some groups do very, very bad things. Some groups do what they need to survive. Is what it is.
Well, yeah. So, have you seen Sons of Anarchy? What do you think about their portrayal of the MC life?
Now you're going to hate me. Nope, not seen it.
You're a garbage human, and I'm better than you. No, I'm kidding.
You hurt my fifis.
Yeah, you like my Young Turks reference there? I had to.
Seriously, it's just one of billions of shows I just haven't got around to watching, or if I have seen it, it's not stuck in my brain particularly. Is that the same show that has Rob Perlman, I think his name is?
Yeah, no, yeah. He's the leader of the MC for most of the show. I'm not trying to spoil it now. I already told you the ending, though. So now you're probably never going to watch it because the ending fucking sucks. I want to do a review just on the ending. Like, fuck that ending.
I mean, but all that's Hollywood, isn't it? I mean, I've only seen a couple of episodes. I was never really impressed with it, to be honest.
Really? Really? My wife and I binge watched it, dude. We watched it all the way through. We even gave up on The Walking Dead, right? What's going on with The Walking Dead? But my God, we watched all of Sons of Anarchy. And my wife looked at me at the end and goes, "That is the stupidest shit ever." And I gave her a kiss and said, "I know."
Well, if your wife is calling it stupid, how much of it can be, a realistic portrayal?
That's a good point. We can't trust the women's. So if even she's right, then wait, I'm waiting for something to be thrown at me. Okay. Even if she's right, then there's a problem.
I mean, but they are. I mean, they were. What they used to be is they just didn't want to be put in a box. They didn't want to be defined.
Well, no, no, woman. No, no. I looked behind me after I said that, and there she is, face, and all she did was fling a hair tie at me. Nothing dangerous, but yeah, I felt like Tim Toolman Taylor on that one. His wife, and he gets in trouble afterwards, even though this is right now live, and I'm already in trouble. But hey, we're only 20 minutes in. Fuck, I'm doing good.
Sounds about right for normal then, let's be fair.
Hey, what's up, Doku? Welcome to the show, brother. You got something to say?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, like I was going to say earlier, let me ask you a question, Mad Dodge. Let's look at your 1%er motorcycle club and your average fucking street thug. Which one do you think is going to sell you drugs and go about their business? Which one do you think is going to fucking try to rob you at gunpoint, potentially murder you after they're done doing so?
Well, no. And here's the thing. I've been stupid before and said where, but I'm not going to anymore because it's dumb. But we were in trouble, and my mom was dating a member of a certain embassy, and I stayed at their clubhouse with a lot of people, and nobody fucked with me. And I was 16. You know what I mean? They didn't give me beer or nothing. And chill and fucking, we got to crash there. We were broke down and they fucking helped us. They do good shit, dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's a biker bar that's close by where I live. And me and my friend and his girlfriend at the time went there. We're just playing pool. And yes, it is a biker bar. If you walk in and people don't know you, you don't get dirty looks or weird shit like you would get, say, in like some of the more ghetto regions outside of DC, like Anacostia or fucking PG County or some of those areas. That's like, okay, here, let's buy a drink, shoot the shit with you a little bit. We were back in the area playing pool, and a couple of guys came in, obviously wearing their jackets and everything. Started talking about, internal shit, maybe smoke some stuff. And didn't give two shits about us, didn't fucking bother us, we didn't bother them. Not once did I ever feel fucking intimidated. Not the same way that it is in some of those other areas.
No, dude, I've dealt with MS-13 straight up. Fuck them motherfuckers. I'd rather deal with the Mongols than them. And the Mongols aren't the best group of fucking people.
Oh, dude, I got stabbed in the back of the fucking head trying to walk from a fucking movie theater to a subway as part of like some fucking initiation bullshit for MS-13. That's how I ended up in the hospital for 24 fucking hours. I'd much rather deal with a motorcycle club 1%er than any of those fucking jack-offs.
Oh, wait. The fucker stabbing you was getting initiated. They're like, oh, go stab this white boy. Because I was like, wait a minute. I've seen you. You look like Jesus. Why are you joining MS-13?
No, it was 4 kids that fucking jumped me. I mean, I say kids. They were like fucking 18, 19 at the time, and I was in fucking 8th grade. 8th fucking grade. So yeah, I think you can tell what my sentiment is when it comes to those fuckheads.
Well, do you believe, like, here's what my whole theory on tonight's show is. Are they a club? Organization. The United States government will tell you they are a criminal organization with ties all around the world, from Canada to Ireland and half a dozen other countries. Club. Are they a group of people that come together to party and have fun? Is this the goddamn white boy mafia?
No, not even close. I think that's completely fucking blown out of proportion. I think MC might agree with me on this one too. Like, it's a bunch of people who fucking get together and basically don't give a fuck. You don't fuck with them, they won't fuck with you. End of story. And that's why they get blown out of proportion like that. Like, let's talk about the fucking... I won't even say the Bloods or the Crips, because that's also overblown too. Let's talk about the Latin Kings, or some of the fucking prison gangs, shit like that. I think that's a lot more significant if that's the kind of narrative you want to run with.
Yeah, no, and this isn't the Tonka show. I'm sorry about the dead air there. I was responding to the chat and nobody picked it up. So yeah.
No, it's all good. I mean, shit, I would say I'll be fucking fair here. I will argue that the Aryan Brotherhood and the Muslim Brotherhood are both more dangerous than any 1%er motorcycle gang.
But here's the thing, though. The Aryan Brotherhood is a prison-based gang. Yes, they spread outside the prisons. But most of your MC members that might end up in prison end up crewing up with the AB, don't they?
Yeah, that's because if they don't, they're going to get their ass kicked by somebody else.
Well,
I mean,
no,
that's just the way prison is.
I was going to say, that's the shitty part about prison. Yeah, out here, we don't really, the regular person, all of us here, we don't give a fuck about race, dude. We don't. We really don't. We'll make jokes because it's the goddamn internet. But we don't. We're not racist.
And that's the thing. And that's where let's be honest, that's where a lot of gang mentality does come from, like as far as the modern sense. And that's the difference between a gang and a motorcycle club. They still call
and good luck trying to crew up with some fucking, I don't know what, I'm trying to be better here on the show, guys, but gangbangers, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go crew up with a bunch of Crips. That ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? I was arrested for Grand Theft Auto, man. I was told I was going to San Quentin. It is all right. I need to find the first white boy and click up with them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It is very much it's kind of funny because they have the same kind of mentality as both the extreme left and the extreme right. If they just view you as skin deep, you're nothing more than a fucking walking sack of meat. You're a blood bag. If you're not a foot soldier, you ain't shit.
Well, no, and you don't have to join them. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna fucking tat your ass like they do on fucking American History X. Don't get me fucking twisted. But you can't go, like, your first day in the cafeteria, you better not go sit next to a bunch of fucking Mexicans or something. Like, don't be stupid.
No, yeah, you stick to your fucking self. You don't say shit. If somebody approaches you, you let them approach you. You don't approach anybody else. That's a real quick way to get shanked. You don't do that shit. That's just dumb. Now, if you're invited to come sit down with a group of people, you also don't say no. That's also a really quick way to get shanked.
Well, and doesn't that boil down society at its worst, right? Right there, the whole prison mentality. That is society at its goddamn worst.
I mean, I can't say worst or best because I'll give a friend that I won't name, I'll give his story. Because the detention center around here, he got locked up for some stupid shit. I'll just say that. And not stupid shit by his own fault, just really shitty situation. And because the detention center was so overpopulated, because, you know, they like to lock people up for the dumbest fucking things, they're like, hey, you can spend 2 years in the detention center or we'll cut your sentence in half if you go to one of the state prisons, which happen to be down in Southern Virginia. One of the first things that happened...
Wait, Southern Virginia. I think that's a bad idea.
Well, they kind of try to sell you on it pretty hard. I mean, if you're saying like, yeah, you can spend 2 years or 6 months with good behavior, if most people after spending, you know, a month in the detention center, which is shitty enough as it is, will just go ahead and take the shorter sentence because fuck it. And he regrets the decision. He'll say it. He'll say it himself if I could ever have him talk to you. But one of the first things that happened, big ass fucking black dude. I don't know what group he was affiliated with, but I'll just say the dude was missing an eye and his face looked real fucked up. So gangbanger, definitely gangbanger. Walks up to my friend, and my friend's not a small dude, but this dude was easily twice his size, talking like 350 pounds, and he wasn't fat. First thing he says, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And friend told him the story. He's like, "Okay, you got 6 months. All right, you're gonna chill with us." And not something that normally happens, but it's like if you don't hang out with us, you're gonna get your fucking ass kicked or potentially killed. So I mean, there is some good within that group of people as well. It's just you can tell the good from the bad.
Yeah, Doku, he got lucky, man, because I remember my first day in San Mateo, and I only spent 3 days, right? I got released, charges dropped. Why? Because I said, "Hey, I want a lawyer. I didn't steal that shit." And they're like, "Oh, you didn't steal that shit." So it is what it is. But I walked in there. I'm 6 feet tall. At the time, I was 220, 210, about the size I am now. And here's this 7 foot tall black guy, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, cracker, I'm going to whoop your ass." And I go, "Sir, something there. Bring it, bitch." And the guards were there, so nothing happened. I then spent my 24-hour lockdown. They're like, "Hey, you want to go play basketball on the court, or do you want to sit in your cell all day but have a shower by yourself?" I'm like, "I'll take the shower by myself, thank you." Next day, I got released. So I got lucky. I was probably dead.
I will admit that my friend also got lucky. But at the same time, just to touch on your point, like society at its worst, it's a different kind of culture. It's a different hierarchy. I won't say it's a good one, but there is good to be had within it. Like the same dude I was telling you about that basically saved my friend's fucking guts. There's a dude that got thrown in to the same penitentiary about a month later for we'll say some unsavory acts against younger innocents.
Okay, real quick, before you continue on that horrible note, I want to address the chat. Jason says, "I couldn't imagine Mad Dodge locked up." Hey, bro, neither can I. Fuck that shit. No, prison is not the place for my loud ass mouth. It really isn't. Not a good fucking plan. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, probably not. But no, same dude that saved my friend's fucking gut. This other fucking piece of human garbage gets locked up. And first thing that happens, this same fucking, 350 pound, 6'5" black dude takes off his fucking, those rubber slippers that they fucking give you in prison?
Oh, I fucking hated that shit. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Takes off his fucking slipper, walks up to this dude. The guards just stand back. He smacks this fucking piece of shit so hard across the face, it gave him a fucking concussion. And you know what I'm talking about? Those slippers, like, they're thick fucking rubber. They're not fucking flip-flops. They're like little fucking rubber bricks.
Well, you know what I hate about being in jail? Because I wasn't in prison yet, man. I was in San Mateo Juvenile Facility. Yeah, it's, it is what it is. I was also in Elko County for Grand Theft Auto as well. I didn't steal that car either. I got fucking acquitted of both charges. Thank you very much. Innocent until proven guilty. Libertarian. No. So, you know what I hate? Even with the straight razor. By fucking 3 o'clock. It ain't a 5 o'clock shadow, bro. It's 3 o'clock, and I'm already growing my beard back. They give you this shitty ass one blade razor where you just fucking cut your face up. Time. It's fucked.
I just didn't even shave. Fuck it. Don't shave. Don't even bother shaving.
Yeah, you don't want to give a bunch of criminals straight razors. I understand. But son of a bitch. Can you just supervise me and let me shave with a Mach 3? God damn it.
Nope. Rules are rules.
Wait, where's my white privilege? I want my Mach 3.
Oh, you want your Gillette? What are you trying to tell us, or Matt?
Oh, you're right, dude. You're right. I forgot. Well, damn. Fuck that one up.
Yeah, you set yourself up for that one. You can't even lie.
MC, we've been going off here. Me and Doku bouncing back and forth. Jump back in this, man. You think prison is the worst of the worst? You've made that clear, right?
I think prison is the worst of the worst.
It's the worst of society is my idea. The worst, like the effects of society, condense it down to, let's say, Clinton Max, or where was that riot at in New York?
Yeah. Well, that's because they don't run these prisons correctly.
I stand upon that.
Well, it's very simple. Sit up there and say, "Here's your job," and you put them to work 8 hours out of the day to the point where they're absolutely exhausted and don't feel like riding. We should have subway tunnels from one end of the country to the other, dug by the prisoners. And if they riot, you turn off the air and get another set of prisoners. They wouldn't have time to with all these extra shenanigans and form into little cliques and let's go work out and play some b-ball in the yard. That's not what prison was supposed to be there for. This attitude where we just incarcerate them and then give them all this extra free time. Oh, we've got to treat the prisoners right, or they just don't come out of prison correctly. Whatever solution that they've come up with to quote unquote make prison so much easier and so much better has led to such more upstanding people coming out of the prison system today.
No, okay. First off, real quick though, MC, redemption wasn't wrong. There's a high rate of suicide amongst long-term prisoners upon release. Either suicide or they do something to get sent back in. That is, and they can't live outside of structured society.
Okay.
Don't you think somebody who got arrested at 18 and he gets sent for 6 to 10 life when he gets out, don't you believe there's a redeeming quality to America? Should the American prison?
You're not going to prison. You're not going to prison, all right, to be reformed.
I believe you are.
Isolate. And that's where you and the rest of the freaking little bleeding hearts come back and go, oh, we can rehabilitate this, we can do this, we can fix this, we can do. Not if people don't want to have it, not if they don't want to. The purpose of prisons is to isolate threats to society.
Real quick, MC. If we were wrong, then why exactly has the United States government, specifically the FBI, put so many ex-mafiosos, members into protective, the fucking...
Because the bleeding heart liberals changed the system to which are just sitting around waiting to get shanked.
But you have mass murderers.
In these systems.
You have a hitman for the mafia that is in fucking protective whatever. I can't remember the name right now. It's not protective custody. It's program. Yeah, where this guy killed 20 people. So hey, dude, we're gonna hide you and set you up in fucking Bumville, Oregon, and you're gonna live on the government dime for the rest of your goddamn life as long as you play ball. Why is that okay, but we can't rehabilitate somebody?
Where did you ever come back and make that claim that I never said that was okay?
Okay, I say, all right, fine, then clarify. Sorry.
Right? This has nothing to do with what it's like in prisons. Prisons, the problem with prisons is that they don't control them correctly. You want to sit up there and stop the shanking, you want to stop all this other crap, well, then you don't let them frickin' associate like that anymore.
You can't have segregated.
Give them free time. 0 free time.
Then you have to cut the sentence in half. You're going to drive a lot of people insane, and you're going to fill up our mental institutions if you're preaching seclusion, pretty much.
Talking about seclusion, they can talk to one another, they can see one another, but if they can't touch one another, that makes a big difference now, doesn't it?
Oh, so they're gonna walk around in pins like cattle.
And
that's why we have different level of security when it comes to prisons. If you're in there for fucking smoking weed or drinking alcohol underage, I don't think you're gonna end up in the same prison as somebody who's in there for convicted for murder.
That's true as well. But if you're going to sit up there and put people in prison, then you can sit up there and make sure that they're constantly busy, working, that they don't have enough free time to be able to plot a lot of the crap that they do. Right now, the problem with prisons is prisoners go there, they work out, they have a little gymnasium for them, and they have all this extra free time that they've given to these prisoners. It shouldn't be that way. These prisoners should be working frickin' the entire time they're in the prison.
I will agree with that. I am willing to go to the private prison model that's used in Louisiana, where they are working pretty much the whole time. But what you're going to have to give me is half the sentence. So if it's 5 for bank robbery, I want 2.5.
I wouldn't even sentence them that. I'd sentence them to power generation. So many kilowatt hours of power generation.
I mean, shit, since you wanted to quote Shawshank, half these motherfuckers that go into prison, especially at a young age, don't even know how to fucking read. Teach them how to fucking speak English. Let them read. Make them a productive member of society. Or let's use a cabbie's favorite meme. Teach them to learn to code. Make them productive.
Yeah, learn to code, cabbie. You goddamn prisoner. No, here's the thing, though. Is rehabilitation, and that's what they're doing right now. They're paying. The government is paying for serial killers on death row to get college degrees that I am right now paying $20,000 a year for. I think MC might have a point on that one. Like, teach them how to get their GED.
I might have a point.
This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I mean, if you're on death row,
Joe Arpaio, who got lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits filed against him for some of the dumbest shit you've ever seen in your life. Things like, well, I wanted creamy peanut butter, he gave me chunky. I wanted this, he gave me that. Well, he took away our television. He took away our cable. He took away... You start talking about prisons, and everyone starts talking about reform, and we got to take a look at how they can reintegrate back into society. No, the primary purpose of prison is to isolate threats to society. You have been determined by society to be a threat to society. We are removing you from society as a result. Well, the more the threat you are, the longer you're removed.
Well, then I come back to convictions and the presidential
How many
pardon.
false convictions are there percentage-wise?
Quite high.
Real quick, I'm gonna kind of
and that's the whole
elaborate.
Problem.
I'm gonna kind of elaborate a little bit here on MC's point.
Damn it, Doku. You jumped out. Go ahead and restart, brother. All right, Doku is having a little bit of an issue. I want Doku to pick up.
You are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
just to elaborate. Sorry about that. I got a phone call because people are dicks. Just to elaborate a little bit, have you read Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil?
I haven't.
Yeah, if you're talking to me, dude, I read mostly nonfiction and fiction. It's like The Expanse series and Game of Thrones at this point. So no.
Well,
no, I haven't.
there's a quote from a judge, and this is if I remember correctly, loosely based on a true story. But the quote from the judge after he sentenced somebody to death because he murdered essentially somebody who took him in, and dude was basically leeching off of him. And because he wouldn't give him money, he killed him. And the judge's response to a question to, it's like an author or reporter, while they're at dinner is, and I quote, "Some people just need killing because that's how much of a threat they are to society." I'm sorry, you can't reason with crazy. You can't.
No, I refuse that. I do not believe that. I am pro-life in both meanings. It is babies and human beings. And if you give the government the right to kill you for any other reason than treason, then you're giving the government too much rights. I'm looking at the chat, and yeah, I think it was God damn it. But 10 to 15% is false accusations and false convictions on where you are. Online, how many is too many? 500, 1,000, 15,000, a million views. How far, MC? How far do you go?
Okay, I tell you what, why don't you sit up there, and since you're pontificating on this, because apparently you have the perfect system out there, why don't you tell me what the perfect system is? You worry so much about the edges, all right? I'll take the 10%, and which is not, in my opinion, accurate, all right? But let's go ahead and take that, all right? How many people, all right, if you have to let go of that entire 10%, should we just let all the prisoners out then and not have anything? Because, I mean, 10% are falsely convicted. Go down and start worrying about each and every freaking rate from a societal standpoint, okay? Then you'll never incarcerate anyone. You might as well just not have any laws whatsoever. At what point of perfection are you looking for? All right, what exactly are you looking for when it comes to the perfect penal system? No, because you're the one complaining at this point, telling me my way is too doggone harsh. Well, why don't you give me the system that works better than this?
All right. Norway.
Norway is not a system. Okay, Norway is a very narrowly defined culture that is very small.
It is one of those mass murderers that killed a whole shit ton of kids. Is he actually getting out before? Don't they have a max cap on the total sentencing?
He will be released, yeah. And we'll see if he kills again. If he does, MC's right. If he doesn't, I'm right.
No, you're not. It has nothing to do with it. We don't live in Norway. How many African Americans or Africans live in Norway? How many blacks live in Norway?
Why does the race matter? I don't care about the
because when you start talking about homogeny, when you start talking about cultures, one of the biggest problems with cultures is when cultures are next to one another and subcultures rub one another. That's what causes a lot of conflict in all societies. So the more changes you have, the less homogenous the group is, all right, the more likely it is that people are going to break the law. The more likely there's going to be tensions. All right,
well,
that's why
you need a good core central, call it fucking identity. You're just core itself. Like I at least remember there was a point where at least a lot of folks they considered themselves American. Like that was commonality.
I consider myself from Louisiana, even though you assholes don't agree with me. But fuck you.
No, that's another thing. And here's the thing. I hear so much arguing about. It seems like we're playing different games here, and I think the games are similar, but we're just trying to integrate things in a way that, let's face it, it's profitable for conflict. Was it Ferengi Rule 34? War is profitable.
Oh, do not quote the rules of acquisition to me, sir. How dare you have the goal?
Oh, I only
Now-
learned that because somebody cited him in a podcast or a video.
Oh, don't quote the rules of acquisition. That is rule of acquisition number 209, and I just added it. Don't quote.
Do you know all the rules?
I'm buying the book. Fuck you.
Well, here's the thing, dude. Folks don't like too many rules because if all of a sudden you just start getting, it's kind of like it's very interesting. It's kind of like the ancient whatever I think Ben Shapiro is like. If you go full OG Hebrew, at one point it's like, all right, there's 687 rules you need to know before we're even going to consider you. So it's like, yeah, being Jewish is a pain in the. You don't want to be Jewish. I'm just imagining Jerry Seinfeld up there on a bit, just kind of preaching. Yeah, don't become Jewish.
You know what? I'm thinking about becoming Jewish because this balding I got going on would look a lot less like balding with a yarmulke on it. Just saying.
I thought you were playing into a particular Semitic stereotype.
I'm playing, dude.
You're saying it's okay to kind of have a bald spot. It's okay if you're Jewish.
I was trying to make a joke, brother.
So just to interject here a little bit, what rule did you say on the rules of acquisition?
34. War is profitable. Oh, no, excuse me.
War is good for business. War is good for business. 35 is peace is good for business.
My apologies, Optimus.
Oh, holy shit. Memes got the rule right. I stand corrected, sir. All right, fine.
But hold on. Rule 29 is what's in it for me?
Oh, do you like shiny things? Actually, speaking of that, if you have a shiny chrome dome and you happen to be Caucasian, aren't there certain folks in a part of Africa, they think there's gold in there? So, like, if you happen to be a white dude with a shaved head, like, they're going to lop your head off and look for gold. Wait, is that because they assume you're Jewish? Because that actually, it could be an actual... Oh my god, that's a fucking dark heuristic.
Okay, that is terrifying, and I'm never going to Africa. Okay, moving on.
Oh, dude, there's badass shit in Africa. Go to Ghana, man. Amazing nightclubs.
Okay. I'm okay. MC, I will respond. Norway is because they have gone under the idea of reforming people, and they have had drastic success. Where the United States has always gone under the idea of penalizing people and treating them subhuman.
Norway is not the United States.
So we get to treat people.
50% of Norway's population is white.
So what?
Language. They speak Norwegian. They don't have a bunch of other languages culturally intermixed in there. You cannot come back and start talking about how their society functions and say our society is equivalent. It's not.
Well, aren't they mostly Dutch? Oh, wait, that's another one.
Norwegians are not. God.
No, I'm sorry. No, I messed up. No, but okay, they're mostly Norwegian. Most folks in Norway are Norwegian.
Pressed 1 for English on this stream. All right? So we're speaking one language. I don't give a shit. Like, dude, you're not going to tell me that my black neighbor is more likely to break into my house and shoot me. He's not. Now, does poverty come into play?
No, it's a cultural thing. And if you share some commonality, if most folks are from Norway, then it's like, all right, kind of like if most folks from Louisiana are really from originally Louisiana and they know the gist of things down there, it's going to probably be like being a masshole up here. It's like you kind of get the gist, you take the good with the bad, but you know how society operates. If folks aren't aware, there's always going to be conflicts.
I am okay. Like I said, I will meet you halfway. We can go with the punitive approach. But if you're going to make them work, like, let's face it, they're fucking slaves. And look at the prison population and the demographics, and you get what I'm fucking saying.
We need to increase the restrictions on slavery within the United States of America.
Cut the fucking... throw people in solitary confinement, for God fucking sake. You're going to make a whole group of people, even people in for only 3 years on fucking misdemeanor. psychopaths. That's what you're creating, the crime.
Nobody's even specified that. The only one who brings up freaking isolation in that regard was you. All right, you go to the worst elements to say this is what's all happening. All right, because you want to go out there and play the bleeding heart liberal game. Who's coming back with the sentencing rules as they're applied? Personally, I think the way we do things throughout this entire prison systems and how the prison systems are run is screwed up. You were asking, okay, how would I do these things? Well, you've got a problem with gang members running around in these freaking prison populations. You've got massive drugs being brought into the population centers. That crap wouldn't be happening, all right, if you were running these systems correctly. But see, you can't run them correctly because of all the bleeding heart liberals whining and crying and have gone through these lawsuits to sit up there and put a stop to it. The reason you have prisoners standing around and not doing anything is because of what the penal systems became.
How would you reform the prison system, MC? Like, with a focus on actually becoming contributing members of society.
I'm worried about them becoming contributing members of society. That's your other problem.
But if you serve your debt to society,
something that can be.
We're very unforgiving.
That is
Think
something
about how many
that can be
folks
handled
with a joint MC that end up having that on their record, trying to get a job back in the day. When you get busted and go to jail and shit, dude. Like even if you don't necessarily have like the biggest skills in the world, dude.
That's whining and crying after the fact. Oh, the poor little criminal. All right, look at what he did with his life. He didn't deserve this.
If somebody went to
jail
for
Hold on a second. You can take care of
because, dude, I had a boss. He's one of the best guys I know.
Whether it's illegal or not later on is immaterial.
He got busted back in the day, and like that after up, he happened to be very blessed in his life, though, so he managed to come back.
But you're conflating things that are entirely different.
MC, though, I want to go off of what Meme said real quick. All right, you guys know my history. How long would you lock me up for, bro?
It's not up to me.
I sold weed for over 10 years.
That's not up to me.
You're Judge Napolitano right now.
I'm not a judge. You're the judge. All right? It depends. The sentencing and everything else is all a result of the system that we have now. When I'm talking about the system internally, all right, you talk about, well, what about the poor little, I don't give a shit about his life anymore. Okay, you want me to sit up there and care about the criminal who committed the crime? I'm not going to worry about him. I'm more worried about his victim. Now, we're not talking about drugs or anything else.
Well, real quick though. In my case, there was no victim, and you and I would consider our friends. How long should I have served, man? How long should I have been in prison?
I don't know. And, if it was up to me, the drugs wouldn't be there wouldn't be a federal crime against drugs to begin with. But that's not me.
That's the fact there, because that's the thing. That's what the disagreement is. In MC's system, it would be like, okay, we're not going to fucking throw you in jail for selling a plant that grows in the ground. We're talking about different things. MC's saying this is the way things are, so you follow the law.
If you're going to sit up there and talk about what they're going to be like when they get out, that's for after they get out. Then there should be programs to help them at that point. But as far as what the prisons are there for, that's not what the prisons are there for. We're trying to, while they're being incarcerated, we're trying to come up with ways to change their lives. No. You're missing the point of the incarceration. In prison, all right, to reform them. You're putting them in prison to isolate them from society. Inflating both of that. When you start saying, well, wait a minute, we can do both all together. No, you can't. That should be set aside for a different program in a different area that has literally nothing to do with the freaking prison system itself.
You know what? MC, here's what I'm going to say. I don't necessarily agree with you. You know that. We've had this argument before. But once again, program for misdemeanors, and if you're a violent criminal, you go straight to prison, I think would lessen prison populations and make everything.
Why
a whole
can't
lot
we do that
cheaper
right
and a whole
now?
lot better. We don't do that right now.
Why?
The deferment program is not like that.
Why don't we do that right now? The reason we don't do it right now is because of the bleeding heart liberals that went whining and crying and have left us with the system we have today.
Well, no, and see, I don't want child molesters released again. I don't want rapists released again. I don't want a fucking serial killer released again. But you know what?
Honest, if you're convicted of child molestation, as far as I'm concerned, I think there should be forced sterilization.
I think someplace
For a moon colonist, to be honest.
Okay, I have a proposal.
Up on Mars, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Moon first.
So I've got a proposal for you guys. If it's a victimless crime, should it be anything more severe than you spend a weekend in a detention center? Not a prison, a detention center. Most severe. And specifically for a victimless crime.
When does it be? Okay, so the guy gets hopped up on weed, and he's driving. Is that a victimless crime?
Hopped up on
does he kill
weed.
somebody?
Dude, MC, I swear to God, you've never smoked weed, right?
Like, I told you that.
Does he get in a car accident and kill somebody? Is there a victim involved?
There are many people that I probably wouldn't believe for that statement, but I actually believe that for MC. Because anybody that would use hopped up on weed has never smoked weed.
Oh, I've never smoked weed. Next.
No,
dude,
good for you, man. Good for you.
First off, on weed, it's not the devil's lettuce. It's not the devil's lettuce, dude.
I'm not asking about that. You're trying to hide from the conversation. I asked a very specific question. I'm waiting for an answer.
Okay, so dude gets caught driving high. Okay, you get caught driving high. You smoked weed. You're driving. You haven't hit anybody. You haven't hurt anybody. The only person you're potentially harming is yourself. You haven't necessarily done any wrong to anyone else.
The thing is,
you get fined. You spend a weekend in jail. Worst case scenario.
I will be straight up, and I have to acknowledge there have been times where I have consumed cannabis where I should not have drove, and I'm like I can't drive right now.
I mean, yeah, you made a stupid decision. But yeah, you made a stupid decision. Worst case scenario in that decision, you spend a weekend in jail, you pay a fine, your shit gets confiscated, maybe you go on probation.
You could hit a kid crossing the street, man. It is possible because you're intoxicated. I think that's where the OUI laws come in. Like if you go out there and you take a sobriety test and you're just stumbling over yourself, like you shouldn't be behind the wheel.
Memes. You're talking about alcohol, not cannabis.
No. Dude, remember the CNN test?
I dare somebody to get so high that they could hit a kid doing 15 miles per hour.
No, it does. No, CNN actually did a test on this. And because they tested the alcohol and the cannabis, alcohol results were fairly steady. There was a loss, especially once you get up there in higher drinks. There was a variation in the loss. However, with cannabis before and after, for folks that smoked generally on a daily basis, whether it was one toke or several tokes, minor kind of law, there was a greater variability. For folks that barely ever smoked, dude, as soon as they took their first toke, dude, they shouldn't have been behind the wheel. So it's trying to account for that because alcohol, if those numbers are lining up, that breathalyzer could be a fairly good indication. But if you're going to try to do a breathalyzer for marijuana, for how much you've smoked, that may not be the best moderator of intoxication. Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
But yeah, memes, that's not my point. My point is, I'll use your example. So you should not be driving. Let's say you smoked a fat blunt of some fucking widow or something. You shouldn't be driving. Okay, you get caught, you get pulled over, you're convicted. You go to jail, you do your weekend in jail, you pay your fines, you get 6 months probation, you get a restricted license. Is that okay? Is that fine? There's no victim. There potentially could be, but there is not a victim. Can you punish somebody more severely for a crime that has potential to do more damage, but you haven't actually done anything. I would say restricted license, probation, a weekend in jail, that's as extreme as you get.
Oh, no, I was looking for more of just kind of like the generalized standard legal route. You were actually looking for potential sentencing. I mean, I have no idea.
Is that regardless of the number of times that you've been caught doing it?
Oh, no, it should definitely be a progressive thing. Like, if you keep on just doing the same thing that's dangerous, man, I mean, the whole 3-strike thing, that kind of bothers me. But, like, what are you guys' thoughts on sentencing? Mandatory minimums.
Why are there
mandatory minimum for what?
Do you think the general concept is a good thing, or should we give some more subjective to the judges?
I think the judges need to be. If you had judges that were reasonable and rational, then it never should have applied. The reason that it came this way is because of what people call justices today.
Yeah.
Okay. No, means I want to field this. Okay. Oregon has Measure 39. It's rather broad. Let's talk about the 3-strike law. At least you get 3 strikes in Cali, bro, because you know what you get here if you fuck up. Measure 39, which is either robbery with a weapon, or it goes into sex crimes as well, which I kind of agree with that end of the bill. But it's a mandatory 10 years, dude.
Right,
but you're done.
Well, the thing is, all of those crimes have victims involved, though. You're harming another person in one way, shape, or form.
The reason you put people in prison is because they represent a threat to society. They are a proven threat to society. That's the reason why you're saying that they need to go away and take them from society. The greater the threat, the longer the isolation. So yes, if you get caught a single time, an absolute minimum sentence should be fine. If you keep doing it, well, obviously you as a threat are even more and more and more of a threat. So therefore, you go away for a more and more and more of a time. But the reason you see minimum sentencing happening right now has absolutely nothing to do with the criminals themselves and everything to do with the inability of having reasonable justices.
And actually,
because the justices have gotten out of control.
MC, I want to clarify something a little bit too. I agree with you for the most part on this one, but it's not that necessarily you're more and more of a threat, but you're proving that you're a threat to society beyond a reasonable doubt the more you continue to make stupid decisions.
Well, you're showing a habit of recidivism.
Let me throw another movie reference out there. So the Blues Brothers, I'm a recidivist. That's a problem, right? What if you're recidivist selling weed to people who are over 18 and now, or over 21, and now legal to buy weed, but you were doing that forever, but you were a recidivist? What if I was stupid like some of these assholes, because I never got caught? I wasn't dumb. Fools got caught, and they got caught a lot. Should they still be in prison even now after the law passed?
That's a very interesting thing, because it's almost kind of like the inverse of ex post facto. Basically, ex post facto is if all of a sudden you're doing something and then it becomes illegal, you can't be charged with the crime because it wasn't illegal at the time. So I've been thinking about this an awful lot.
I'm saying the other way. Like,
that's the thing. If all of a sudden you were convicted of a crime and all of a sudden that crime is now fully legal, should that crime remain there? That's a very interesting thing, because that would clear a lot of folks' records.
No, I don't believe the record should be cleared. You can let them out of prison.
Well, I'm glad I have a clear record.
Should be cleared.
As far as hiring purposes, and they are making progress. I have heard
I'm not worried about you act like they're victims, and I'm tired of them being treated like victims.
MC, when did I say they were victims? If they were convicted of a crime,
you know who's the victim? The guy that
served their time. No,
you
want folks to contribute.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick a fight with MC right now. That's right, dude. Yeah, the guy that created Silk Road. He was.
The guy who created what?
you know, the guy arrested when the ATF and the FBI decided to set him up and do entrapment.
What was happening on the Silk Road?
They were selling drugs, bro.
God.
That's what they were doing.
Well,
Weren't there
He
other
wasn't a victim.
I want to touch on something MC said earlier. Rather than having stricter laws, we should have stricter standards for the people that enforce the laws and the ones who pass judgment. That would clear up a lot of the issues we have.
Yes, that's very true.
I agree.
I think that's the more appropriate approach.
The changing the judiciary is something that I've been harping on since I started my channel.
And I agree with you 100% on that. We wouldn't have these kind of issues. I mean, okay, yeah, I understand the idea for setting a precedent, but you're called a justice or a judge for a reason. You're supposed to be able to have the ability to pass judgment. You shouldn't be beholden to a precedent. There's always going to be nuance or complications in a situation. You can't just, the same way that you can't just blanket statement somebody like 4chan's fucking wonderful troll from 2 years ago. It's okay to be white. You just make a blanket statement like that. It fucking makes people go crazy because they're so focused on this. Oh, it's one thing. No, there's the world is not fucking black and white. It's a million different shades of gray. So you need to have stricter standards for the people that make laws, enforce the laws, and pass judgment based upon the situation. If you have better standards, you're not going to, we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation right now. It wouldn't be an issue.
Well, that's the thing. Unfortunately, Doku, not everybody can see in color.
I mean, I know it's like, I see what you did there.
No,
I mean,
no,
I know it's
seriously,
an
when my
ideal.
friends growing up, he didn't see color. He was mostly more grayscale.
Well, all right, fair enough. I'm not sure how to respond to that. I'm not sure how to respond to that, but okay. But no, I know it's an idealistic statement to make, but in my opinion, now that I've gotten that out of the way, that's the direction we should be moving towards, not just let's make more laws or make stricter law. No, let's raise the standard. And what do you guys think?
I agree. We should level up.
Yeah,
you got to sit up there and expect people to sit up there and have higher standards, don't you? In fact, you've got to sit up there and start trying to push people to have higher standards, to be better than they are. Well and good when one side is doing it and the other side isn't, though, and the other side is winning the battle because they're encouraged not to raise their standard.
Well, that seems to be, if I fully entertain that doesn't seem like a beneficial thing. That just seems like a cycle of conflict that would ultimately lead to, I don't know, us losing our republic potentially.
Gee, really? Wow! So the warnings that I've been given now, you start to understand.
Yes,
right now, we have a Supreme Court justice.
Again, I take into consideration.
Right now, we have a Supreme Court
from
justice.
a military standpoint makes sense. But just
right now, we have a Supreme Court justice that can't even bring herself State of the Union by a president from the other party. But under none of the Bush State of the Union speeches.
Wait,
either.
real quick. No.
Wasn't 80 years old then.
MC, stop. Memes, I don't give a fuck if she has cancer. She's still a Supreme Court justice. Where the fuck is Ruth? All right? I want to know if she's still alive.
If she can go to a concert, she should be able to go to the State of the Union.
Then quit, bitch.
She attended the State of the Union for Bush when Bush was president?
Job. You should.
Is there have other Supreme Court justices done that?
Other Supreme Court justices that have missed the State of the Union because they were ill. She's the one who made it a point of going, I don't like you politically, and decided not to show up. And how is she talked about? Is she talked about, that this is kind of bad deportment for a judge? Or is she lionized as the great and glorious, notorious?
People love witty older gals. I mean, look at Betty White. Yeah, she's not the Supreme Court justice, but dude, this is where a lot of the claims of like misogyny and shit come from. Like, I understand you're coming from an objective standpoint. That is fair. She's an old woman with cancer, MC. And if you're yelling about
that doesn't wash with her constant actions. I've been pointing this out for decades. You act like this is new to the party.
Oh, I've only heard you wailing against her for the past few weeks, maybe a few months.
Please, oh, please.
Well, here's the thing. People get
only crossed so not that long ago.
Here's the thing. People get sick and call out of work from time to time. That's one thing. But if it's a chronic illness, if you're not capable of doing the job, why are you still doing the job?
I think President Trump should offer to put Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court if.
Why would I go back and replace a pissed off judge who doesn't give a shit about the law with another pissed off judge who doesn't give a shit about the law? How are you going to fix it then?
Together and show like a great compromise.
Yeah, the judiciary is a problem. No. Yeah, we need to pick better
at this
judges.
Point, we might
put
start
Merrick Garland,
one of the worst
examples of it.
No, once again, I've said it before. No, MC, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Do you want another Judge Scalia on the bench? Give me Andrew Napolitano.
Just to interject here. Yes, everyone can hear me. Let's calm the calamity that is our memories. Okay.
Wait. Are our memories off?
And I agree with Aunt Jack. She should have resigned if she's no longer able to perform the job. The reason she won't is because she's sitting on the bench, not for the sake of upholding the judiciary. She's doing it purely for political reasons. And that's the problem. The Supreme Court should not be political one way or the other.
It isn't really politics as much as it is her own personal power.
Oh, that
won't resign.
That definitely plays a big role.
Resign is because she is a Supreme Court justice. This is all about her, all about the I, about her personal power. She couldn't give a rat's ass if she had to sit up there and throw a liberal in jail or put a bullet in his head. Remain to be a justice.
All right, well, here's my question then. Does the Supreme Court hold too much power? They are the utmost holders of the Constitution, and they have lifetime terms.
You have lifetime terms.
I'll let MC take that one first.
Dialed back? Yeah, I do think that they should be dialed back. I personally think that there's ways to do that. Yeah, because technology has changed. So should we be replacing them? Yeah, but that's still not going to fix the problem. The reason that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was put on the court, all right, is the problem. The fact that people sit up there and ignored who she was, what her deportment was like, the fact that she didn't give a shit about the law. All of this was known before they put her on the court.
Who put her on the court? No, I don't know personally. Who appointed her?
Bader Ginsburg?
Yeah.
Oh. Good old Billy Bob, Billy frickin' Clinton.
Oh, I like Bill.
Yeah. Because you know what? That road, every time I sit there and talk about how we have to have better people, you just keep giving example of why we'll never get them. Because you don't really believe it. You say it.
He was
actually you holding people accountable. When it comes to you sitting up there saying, you know what, we need to be looking at better people. You're back too. I like Bill.
He was a Rhodes Scholar that had the ability to connect with people.
He was a criminal, all right, who sit up there and got away with crimes because the press sit up there and convinced a lot of people that, you know what, felonies as a president don't matter when you've got a D by your name.
Well, that's if that was true, that's wrong.
Hey, I'm gonna have to do it. Shut up, memes.
If that was true, memes.
No, MC, don't make me make a shirt with "Shut Up, MC." Don't make me do it. I don't want to put you with me.
There'll be a bigger rock coming in.
There's a thread. He made a shirt of me that says "Shut Up, MC." Oh no.
Fuck you too, buddy. But anyway, John says Ruth could do whatever the fuck she wants. No.
She also says Grandpa is yelling at clouds again.
She can't. Ruth Bader Ginsburg cannot do what she fucking wants because she is accountable to me. To memes. She's accountable to MC. She's not accountable to Jensen. He doesn't give a fuck. But she's accountable to fucking Optimus and Doku. She is a Supreme Court justice. Your job is to be on the bench and to show up for the State of the Union.
No, she doesn't have to. Ceremonially. Dude,
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Gonna be pushing 90-year-old woman with cancer, man.
And quit. Then quit, bitch. You're done.
It's her right. It is her right. If you don't like it, it can be changed.
Oh my God, dude. No, it's not. She is incompetent. Perform the job. If you can't perform the job, it's not your right anymore.
I thought she came back.
What? She came back and took a nap on the bench? Have you seen this bitch?
Don't we have the technology?
You're kidding me right now, right?
We don't have the ability to Skype?
Oh, MC, sick him. I'm done.
You know how bad she is. And you're just coming back with excuses. You don't want to face. You don't want to face what it takes to a higher standard.
I try to have some compassion for an old woman with cancer.
Well, no.
I'm sorry.
No, this is not compassion for an old woman, okay?
Well,
compassion? You want to talk about compassion? This old woman.
Isn't she retiring?
Woman 2 decades ago was the one walking around going, yeah, I don't look at the U.S. Constitution. I look at international law to sit there when I'm looking for my determinations of things. Woman that you keep sitting there lying, oh, she's an old woman, we'll just pat her on the head. How much more patronizing can you be?
Did she say that before or after she was on the bench?
She said that after she got on the Supreme Court.
Okay. Are there
Which point they should have started immediate proceedings.
That have never
At that point right there, they should have started immediate proceedings to get rid of her. They should have immediately started saying, okay, since you feel that way, time for the impeachment. You no longer can serve as a judge.
Well, yeah, and here's my question.
Removing sitting judges. And if she's not going to look the U.S. law
of Justice Ginsburg.
Justice Ginsburg should have been impeached.
Okay, I'm gonna make a statement that might sound extreme to some people.
Doku, real quick, you can go.
Okay, I'm gonna make a statement that might sound extreme.
Well, you can. I just want to tell this to memes before you do. You know you're wrong when the dude that was just arguing the liberal fucking point of view to MC for an hour is now on his side 100% when it comes to this Supreme Court justice, all right? You had the libertarian against you, all right? Come on, rethink your view. And then Doku, go ahead and memes.
I'll let memes go ahead and rebuttal real quick before I go.
All I have is one single question. Why is Ruth Bader Ginsburg not retiring at this moment or within the past few months?
I can answer that with Ruth Bader Ginsburg would rather die sitting on the bench than sitting with her own family. That's the kind of person she is. That's why. That's why she won't retire. The power of being a Supreme Court justice is more important to her. That's why. It's that simple.
MD? Jensen?
I've said it already. I've said it repeatedly.
Her
goal was to go to the Supreme Court wasn't because she wants to do what's right from the law. Be on the Supreme Court because she wants to wield power.
Yeah. He's not wrong. He's 100% correct. That's the whole reason she even made that career choice. It was her life goal. She would rather die sitting on the bench than she would, die in a bed, comfortable in her own home, surrounded by her family. That's how important it is to her. That's the kind of person you don't want to wield that kind of power. And the Supreme Court wields a whole hell of a lot of fucking power. Here's my extreme proposal. If any justice, I don't care if they're left-leaning, right-leaning, centrist, I don't care who the fuck it is. If you do not abide by the law of the land, if you do not abide by the Constitution, if you're going to come out here and say you look at international law and you think that is higher than the Constitution, as a United States Supreme Court justice, that is immediate grounds for removal. That should be treason, in my opinion.
Mad Dodge and Jensen. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on why Justice Ginsburg.
My thoughts are headed towards the chat, and Wolfshot throwing shade at my homie Scalia. I'm sorry, not a living document. Words have meanings, and I stand by his decisions upon the court. And you know what? Anything in his private life. By the way, he was Roman Catholic. So that might be why he was against gay people. Fuck it up, Buttercup. Sorry to be a dick, but it is what it fucking is. Get over it.
A legal issue one way or the other. The government has no fucking say so. Go find a
Twitter DMs are open at Mad Libertarian 3. You want to get married? I'll look that shit up. You can marry your goddamn Kane.
Dan, this is why I say separation of church and state. It's no fucking business of the government. The more power you hand to the government, the more fucking your freedoms are going to be taken away. It's supposed to be limited government. It's called limited for a fucking reason. That's just my 2 cents.
Although, yeah, Jensen, you haven't talked at all. You take it over, brother.
It's simple. If she can't do the job, get rid of her and find someone who can. The end.
That's what I've been saying. And it should be easier. It should be easier to remove just like the lifetime appointment shit irritates me. If you can't do the fucking job, it should be easier to remove someone. Like, okay, you got a 90-year-old woman with cancer who would rather die on the fucking bench than resign. Do you think she's fucking competent to do her fucking job? Especially considering the amount of power she wields? The highest court in the land? You really want a 90-year-old cancerous woman wielding that kind of power? You think that's a good idea?
I really don't care about her having cancer or not. My problem is
I think she's completely fucking incompetent.
She is not a. She's a horrible justice. She's been a horrible justice. She's going to remain a horrible justice because she doesn't care about the law.
Well, dude, she's half likely to fall asleep during a hearing deciding what could be potentially a precedent-setting case. Do you want someone like that on the bench? I don't.
Oh, but I don't want somebody that doesn't have the deportment to sit up there and be able to go to a State of the Union. All right, either. Been a disaster her entire career as a Supreme Court, as a Scottish justice. Lionized as this wonderful doyen, when in actuality she's a heinous human being, and she's a horrible judge. Doesn't like that when I use words like heinous human being.
Yes, because you just pissed off pretty much anybody to the left of Kennedy, and a whole lot of folks to the right, because you put an old woman and heinous in the same sentence.
Is heinous.
Well, you disagree with what she's done. That's a
if you're going to say that, then how can you say so? Man, he keep his hands straight. How come you have no problem talking bad about Hitler? I mean, look, he was suffering from cerebral palsy. Can't you give the man a break?
Oh, Donald Trump?
I have no problem calling him a heinous human being either.
Well, Donald Trump does lots of stupid shit.
I didn't talk about Donald Trump, was I?
What?
I was talking about Adolf Hitler.
Oh, well, he committed genocide.
Oh?
Well, and just to point out Aunt Jack's quote, lifetime was not meant until you die. It was meant until you retire. Most justices retired and did not die on the bench. The fuck is Ruth Gator Binsker doing? It's clear that she wants power.
Let me, I'll throw in my, and actually, Jensen, let me re-ask this, and perhaps to UMD. I'm not sure there was actually an answer to why she's doing this. Like, why is she not retiring if you're in this current state of health, potentially? I mean, she has the right to. Jensen, I'm just curious, like, what if
he's asking you for your opinion, so you understand, Jensen, MADDS. He's asking your opinion. Why won't she retire? Why isn't she retired, in your opinion?
Dumb cunt.
Well, that's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you, MADDS, on that one. All right, Jensen, it's your turn. Jensen.
Oh, I don't think he can top that. No.
I totally
What's your
could.
reason? Why do you think she won't retire?
Oh.
All right, go ahead, Optimus. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, I'm curious Optimus's opinion first, if he happens to be available.
Kill everyone. Absolutely.
Right. Well, I still have to like blueberries because they are a superfood, and the reason why I don't think she's retiring is because Donald Trump is president of the United States.
She's doing it for political reasons.
I don't think she wants the Supreme Court to be stacked or something. If Hillary Clinton was there and had appointed Merrick Garland, blah blah blah, I think she may have already retired.
Should have already retired. If that was the case, then why did she retire when Barack Obama was still president?
Well, because that was also several years ago, and because Donald Trump may have...
Her health was that ill several years ago. She was sleeping during frickin' court proceedings. All right, all of this was going on under Obama. This isn't something that just crept up on her.
She probably also loves her job and what she does, and a lot.
No. See what? There he goes again. You're looking for an
retire, all his friends started dying.
All you ever do, and this is the problem with you leftists, is you try to come back with some silly excuse to excuse away totally abhorrent behavior. You don't want to call out bad behavior. You don't want to hold people accountable to any standards. You want to come back and come up with a reason of why you don't have to sit up there and give people a standard that they should have to achieve. And then you're going to come back and complain, yeah, we all should be doing better. Yeah, we all should be doing better. But as long as there's people like you to make sure that there's never any consequence for that, it'll never happen. Thank you, me.
So, MC, at what point did I say it was a positive scenario to have a old gal pushing 90 that happens to have cancer to be currently sitting on the bench if her health is in question? I don't think I ever said that was a good thing. I was simply asking why we're in the current situation.
Because, no, you weren't just asking. You came up with a scenario that gives her
I said the least. Right.
No, you came back and said that you think the reason she didn't do it is because Trump is president. See, there's the excuse. So really, you got to understand her, and you got to understand her viewpoint.
Try to get where maybe she's coming from. I have no idea what's in her head and her heart, but I mean, that's what I'm seeing from my vantage.
The only reason you're seeing that is because
what does her job entail?
How do you see that?
If she loves her job, what does her job give her? And it's
a reason to live. And if her health all of a sudden starts to take a downturn, especially potentially after a fall, because like even my dad's like, oh, I got to go down to Florida because if I fall up here, he's like, I'm not going to recover. Like that's a big thing for older folks.
So the only reason that RBG has a reason to live is because of her job. I don't think that's the case.
Here's the thing: we have no idea what the current state.
Let's come back with another excuse.
If
so I don't
actually
so I don't demand that she has to retire.
Hospice.
sit up there and demand that she should retire. I don't want to have to be one of the people who has to come out there and put himself out there to say what she's doing is harming the country and therefore she should retire. No, I'm going to come back with excuses to say, well, you got to understand her plight. That's going to fix things, as if somehow that's going to make things all better.
I'd be willing to take a bet that she's been told she's not allowed to retire, otherwise she doesn't receive medical treatment that's probably necessary to keep her ass alive. I would make that bet.
Be horrific.
I would make that bet. I wouldn't put it past the, considering the current state of politics, I would not put it past them. Just saying, throwing it out there.
Well, here's the thing. When somebody's incompetent and they're holding the highest position in the land, and say what you want about the presidency, but that's 4 years long, 8 at most. Supreme Court is life. They hold the highest seat in the land. Falling asleep, dude. That's not okay. It's not okay. Kicked out 10 years ago.
Should there be a term limit?
Well, okay, so maybe she really does love her job. Maybe that's the reason she wants to stay on the bench. So let me throw a rebuttal out here. If she has any respect for the position and truly does cherish the highest seat in the land, if she's in the state that she is, why hasn't she retired? Why hasn't she stepped down and let somebody who's a little bit younger, who has similar viewpoints to her own, maybe even give her the chance to, I don't know, give a recommendation? Why hasn't she done that? And she said herself that she'd rather look at international law instead of the Constitution to base her decisions off of.
Did she say she would prefer to, or she looks to it when she's reviewing cases?
She looks to it. There are times when she looks to the she can't find it in the Constitution. She'll look to the international law to make her decision.
Isn't that strictly legal research? If
no, that's not legal research. You're supposed to sit up there and determine
ideas that could fit our Constitution.
It's not memes. Once again, you're trying to find an excuse to justify her abhorrent behavior.
I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Obamacare was going to get struck down.
Okay, see, I can see both sides of the argument here, and I'll be objective. I won't be partisan, so to speak. If you can't find any sort of legal precedent or any sort of nuanced nomenclature, wording within the Constitution based upon a certain decision to draw a reasonable conclusion that could be interpreted, and this is the key point, to be interpreted within the wording of the Constitution, it has to fit within the context of our Constitution. If you throw out our Constitution when trying to make a decision, especially a decision that would be a precedent, then there is definitely a big issue. That, well, I'll play middle ground here.
Well, no, real quick, before you play memes, just let that go for a second. We got 20 minutes left of the show, and I want to get to one big point here. Minutes, because I know how y'all are. Here's the thing. Should judges be making precedents? Shouldn't they just be following the laws from the legislator? Yes or no?
Sometimes
you're going to have to make precedent at some point. I mean, that's
going to happen inevitably, no matter what you do.
It is, but it's supposed to, at least how I believe our Constitution was constructed. So if something is set, Congress is supposed to go back and then actually codify to actually like hammer out the specifics.
If that's depends on what the ruling is and what it's determined to do.
Yeah, well, if you don't like the ruling, Congress has the ability to change it because they pass law. And if the president signs it, there's
not always.
Well, let's not even complicate things with Congress. This would be the way I would approach the argument if it were up to me. Just because a precedent has been set does not mean it should be followed as if it were law. It's a precedent.
it de facto becomes the law of the land. But here's the thing, Doku. That's the beautiful thing about the Republic. We can change anything we freaking want. We just need to have the will of the folks and the representatives behind it. We can amend the Constitution. It's just that we don't seem to have like the wherewithal or just like the ability to like agree on some commonalities.
Well, I think the Constitution should be a little bit more set in stone than a precedent made by a judge. Just because a judge made a decision in a particular case does not mean that a different judge should not be able to rule against it because that's the precedent. Amending the Constitution is something a lot more difficult.
But you don't have common law.
Well, our checks and balances.
No, real quick. Here's the thing, though, when it comes to the Constitution. You need to look at the amendment in it and when it was written, because words have meanings, and sometimes the meaning shifts. Look at the Commerce Clause, for instance.
This is not the Kumite. No more dead air. Come on. MC, what do you got to say?
You don't know what the Commerce, that clause is?
Matt, here's the thing. When someone throws off the Commerce Clause, there often isn't like mass yelling. It's more like, and to be fair, if I was in some of those hearings, I'd probably fall asleep too.
Fall asleep? I wouldn't. I'd be fucking livid, man. Because to make regular meant to make commerce a regular thing. Regulate it.
Mad dodge.
This is what I'm fucking saying when I say goddamn words have meaning.
I agree words do have meaning, but with all due respect, you do realize you've hosted a show that you've fallen asleep on before, right?
Oh, whatever.
There's a difference between falling asleep and I'm not asleep. I'm just listening and just ignoring this stuff right now. Because it still comes back to the same. It still comes back down to the same freaking things. As far as the law and how it gets applied, okay, we have to. When you set a precedent, it becomes a standard. The whole purpose behind common law is to say, okay, this was a decision. We know where we're going in this situation. So the more times it's set in stone, the more times it's validated. All right, it becomes what they call common law. It's hard to overturn common law.
No, it becomes like the core operating procedure of the culture.
Right. Well, or the legal system, not the culture. Okay, the legal system.
It would be nice if it was part of the culture as well.
Oh, it's not nice when it's part of the culture because you end up with the situation we've got right now because of that attitude. Means
we'll have to figure. Wait, how?
The whole thing right now is Ruth Bader Ginsburg feels like I'm going to be the one who's going to determine how culture should go, so therefore this is how I rule. She doesn't care about the law. This is why we're in this situation.
Oh, and to touch on what MC is saying, it shouldn't become part of the culture. It's supposed to be the interpretation of how the law is. And this is why I very, very much dislike the idea of I'm going to look to international law. I'm going to look to other cultures to determine how law should be interpreted. Okay, let's pick a culture. Let's pick international law. We got to look at Sharia. We got to look at ancient Chinese law. We're going to look at eye for an eye. We're going to look at fucking the Genghis Khan flood the villages with blood.
How about we just go back to the golden rule, like do unto others as you would have do unto you. If everybody, I would say the U.S. Constitution,
better world. I would say the U.S. Constitution embodies that better than any other international law that we've seen. I mean, hell, you can get arrested in current year for making an edgy joke on fucking Twitter in other countries. Are we going to look to the interpretation of other law about that? I mean, shit, we can just look at, no offense to Canadians, we're going to look at the fucking top hat of our country? Yeah, no offense to you Canadians.
You know what? As a fellow top hat here, mad libertarian, here's the thing, though. They are looking to that. They are looking to international law. They are looking to what the Brits are doing. And yes, That's the way they're gonna fucking go unless we push back.
Here's where, and again, like I could be absolutely wrong. You guys might be absolutely 110% right. That's possible, but all I'm saying is
Possible, it's probable.
Is it? Well, I'm not sure you can get above an actual 100%. I suppose we can have supersaturated solutions, so maybe we can have a supersaturated reality. So let's go for it, MC. No, but right here, how did we actually get to this point?
By people like you.
Here's a question. Here's a question.
My apologies. Yes.
Here's a question. So we can have a bunch of celebrities going after a bunch of fucking high school kids who didn't do jack shit. And then we can have a group of Black Hebrew Israelites yelling extremely biased slurs at them. And I would not try to censor either group because that's what free speech is. You can be the biggest racist, bigoted, sexist piece of crap on the fucking planet. But you have the right to say what you think. You have the right to voice your opinion, and I'm not going to try to fucking censor you. The rest of the world doesn't have that same kind of law. So I'm not going to look to international law to try to interpret the First Amendment. Do I disagree with what you say? Do I think it's abhorrent? Do I think you're a fucking piece of shit? Yes, I do. I do. I completely think you're that. But I'm not going to try to fucking silence you or censor you the same way the rest of the world would. Because I don't believe in this quote-unquote idea of hate speech. And I think MADDS would back me up on this one.
That's
look to
fair.
International law?
That's
we
fair.
have it written right there.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, that was an example about that situation. That was an example of free speech. People were saying things were happening, and there were a lot of terrible things happening. But as far as the Constitution goes, why do cases make it to the Supreme Court? Is it that courts have rulings? They end up having disagreements. Certain things get overturned. And if the law was written
why do we have it
more
well, that's
specifically,
you're
if we
about,
actually specified and actually it wasn't in question, then these things wouldn't be getting there. I really
no. See, I disagree with you because means that you're talking about it from a how things should work, not how they've been devolved.
I am. Yes. No, I am, MC.
That they've been devolved.
I would love
who the was that stretched the situation like this, and you don't sit up there and have the intestinal fortitude to look at that and say that that was wrong. And those people know that you don't have the intestinal fortitude. They know, in fact, what you'll do is when they encounter somebody like me who's trying to put a stop to it, that they can count on you. All right, to stand in front of them, to take the slings and arrows to protect them. Because you'll never turn around and actually hold them accountable to the standard that you claim is necessary.
Oh, I'm willing to do that. It's just if I don't have the information regarding to that particularity, I could listen to you, but sometimes you yell very angrily. So sometimes I question.
What does that have to do
the
with
seriousness
what I'm saying?
of the actual? Sometimes people over embellish things, and I would prefer not to confront a person before
you know me now for a long time.
Going on.
You know me now for a long time. How much have I really embellished?
Nowhere near as much as other people, which is why I like having folks like you around to actually point out issues that some folks may not cover. That's why I believe you actually need a balance. You need folks harder, right?
You're looking for someone to balance for me, and who is that on the left?
Oh, probably like AOC.
Who's the non-embellisher on the left?
Oh, non-embellisher? Oh yeah, she's more like Donald Trump. But
okay, here's a question then.
Before we head of the Senate Minority Leader.
Chuck Schumer?
Yeah. All right. No. We're not diving down that rabbit hole. We got 10 minutes left.
Okay, here's just a real quick question. I have a proposition.
I want everybody to understand he just compared me to Chuck Schumer.
Is it an unfair assessment?
Oh boy.
A little bit.
All right, like I was saying,
Schumer's kind of a snaky dude.
Well, no, We got 10 minutes left, 6 people. We'll probably run over a little bit, but I want your guys' thoughts, wrapping it all up. And you can talk about the biker gang thing we led off with, or it devolved into. Let's start with memes. Fuck it. Everybody can rail at memes after he leads off. Go ahead. Take as much time as you need. What do you think?
Oh, what was the question? I'm sorry, I was reading the chat.
Your thoughts on anything in the stream, man. Paul, you want to elaborate on Chuck Schumer? Go for it.
Well, to be fair, he was the first person that came to my head. And I just think the sheer fact that, yes, I did compare MC to Chuck Schumer. Why the hell would I do that? Because Chuck Schumer, while he can say some things that, well, a lot of folks may disagree with, he actually has the ability to make deals and actually accept a certain level of reality that maybe some other folks aren't. He's also a politician. I'm factoring that into the equation. So a lot of things he does, because we can sit around and just yell and criticize and Monday morning quarterback all fucking day long. But I really don't think these things are as easy as it actually is. They're incredibly involved. You're talking about running the most powerful, richest nation in the world with like 500 something people or so, just within the government, that the president alone manages over like 1.5+ million, plus probably the military as well. Because if you actually go onto that website, man, there's a shit ton of jobs there. So I just think we get lost a lot of the time. And a lot of it does come down to honesty. Because if someone's not being honest and you think somebody's just out there for like their own benefit and they're just trying to screw you over just for their own personal power and everything, that is wrong. However, it's just occasionally we do over embellish. Occasionally folks do yell, and regardless of whatever comes out sometimes that's not what people hear. They just take away like what they're, are often feeling at the moment. Yes, no, it is feelings.
Give me an example where
however, if you can combine MC, let me finish my final word here. If you can actually harness the power of emotion and actually have numbers to back you up, that's a powerful thing, and I think it is possible. It's just I haven't really seen it yet, so that's it.
You show me.
Here's your closing statement then, because you couldn't wait for memes to finish, so it's your turn, buddy.
Sit up there and say that I'm just like me, like Chuck Schumer, really? For everybody, all right, as to where Chuck Schumer acts just like me. He hasn't been embellishing things. Please give us your example, all right, where you see him upset, where he's actually going on a rant like I do, but he's being honest and he's not embellishing things and he's not actually intentionally misleading the public. I want to hear this, memes. Chuck Schumer for decades. He's been in the public eye for decades. I want to see it. I want to see you point out memes. Somebody goes so far off the rails like I have. All right. When I sit up there and said that we should deport that idiot. What's his name? Jim Carrey. When I sit up there and said we'll deport Jim Carrey, all right, and then I went back and I realized that I had oversaid what I had said, and I immediately apologized. Please show me anything like that from Chuck Schumer. And then I expect you to apologize for saying that I'm just like Chuck Schumer.
Memes, he's addressing you directly. I don't care if it's closing statements. You need to.
Oh, my apologies, MC. You're more like Howard Dean. Excuse me, no, James Carville.
James Carville? The man who stood up there and called freaking Ken Starr the pervert?
Well, yeah, he's loud.
No, he called him a pervert. He said that the only reason that he was going after Bill Clinton is because he has a sex fetish. This is who you're
Elon
comparing me
Musk also
to?
called a diver a pedophile.
Kidding me? You go from one person to someone even worse. Individual.
All right, at this point, memes, I think you should just back yourself up and say sorry. But that's you're a man. That's your decision.
I'll set it on Howard Dean.
Howard Dean. All because he screamed, yeah? Can you tell me something that Howard Dean said that he wasn't lying about?
Oh, I have no idea. I just remember him giving that speech. I'm like, oh,
all
that was
you
enthusiastic, and
all
then
you're
everyone
hearing then
crucified him.
is all you're hearing then, hearing what I'm saying, my voice. You're hearing my inflection. You're hearing the heat from my voice. It isn't even getting to you as to what I am actually saying.
Oh,
you're listening, memes.
No, I'm listening. I'm just factoring in humanity.
If you are sitting up there saying that I am like Howard Dean, if you are saying that I'm like James Carville, and you are supposed to be listening to them, and all they are, or Chuck Schumer, all they've ever done their entire adult lives is lie, demean other people, go after other people as character assassinations for the only reason, all right, to protect a perverted individual in some cases. So I'm just like them because, see, I'm angry, so therefore it's the same thing. It's an equivalence. Then you're not listening, memes. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. You're emoting. You're making a decision purely based on your own emotions, which is exactly the wrong thing and exactly why we're in this situation in this country.
All right, my apologies.
Engage in it in this way.
Molten.
No, okay, first off, no, MC, I think that was a perfect spot for you to end on. I would say more like George Carlin, someone that calls it like it is and does emote a little bit to be heard, and we're all YouTubers, and that's what we do. That's what I would say, and if you're offended by George Carlin, I apologize.
Call me George Carlin. I can live with that.
All right, but memes, dude, you're not in trouble, brother. But we need to move on with the closing from. Let's go to Doku. What do you think about all this? And you don't have to comment on the exchange that just happened. You can go back to the biker gangs or whatever you want.
Oh no, I wasn't going to comment on that. I'm only going to say this, and this is where I think a core problem is. Maybe you'll do a stream on this later, Mad Dodge. The issue I see is the fact that the judiciary, the precedents that are being set by said judiciary, and also the ability to amend the Constitution have become weaponized for the sake of political agenda and personal gain by the powers that be as we see them today. Hence that whole idea of Ruth Bader Ginsburg looking at, international law to determine how our constitutional law, or as it's supposed to be called, the law of the land, is set and interpreted. And this is why people constantly, at least from my side of the spectrum, despise the idea of globalism and corporatism, because you can have a corporation that operates globally, you can have banks that operate internationally, and they utilize the political system for their own personal fucking benefit. They don't give a shit about the American people. They don't give a shit about the people in, say, the UK, Jensen's land. They don't give a damn about the people in China. They don't give a damn about anyone. They care about manipulating and utilizing people for their own fucking gain. And they will do whatever they can to do it. And you see this constantly. This is the reason Ruth Bader Ginsburg is such a piece of crap. She is utilizing the system along with all of her little fucking cronies, a fucking group. And I will call them fucking globalists, because that's what they are. They are manipulating everything for their own gain. That's why they don't care about the Constitution. That's why I say the ability to amend the Constitution is being weaponized for propagating a political agenda, the same crap with presidents, the same crap with the judiciary, and it needs to fucking stop. That's my fucking thought.
Thank you very much, sir. Jensen, you've hardly said anything, but you've been witness to everything. Go ahead, sir.
It's a very, very simple comment. Biker gangs are just the modern version of cowboys. Some are good, some are bad. Some are just trying to live their life.
That was a very straightforward comment.
All right, Optimus, once again, I don't want to do the same catchphrase for you. You're our wonderful producer. What's your thoughts before I close this out?
The whole problem would be solved if we just killed absolutely everyone. Myself included. I'll do it all.
Also very straightforward.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but, you know, it is what it is. I like to live, man. I like to hang out and do my talk show. And, you know, I also torture myself with college. And I'm doing an interpersonal communications class. This should be fun. Expect some videos because I don't think I can take this textbook lying down. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about Pax Americana. Or no. What was that term? What is it? It's not Pax Americana because it's Britannia, right, gents?
Pax Empirica.
There you go. We're going to talk about what would happen if the Revolutionary War never happened. We're going an alternate scenario here, and it should be fun. You unmuted, Optimus. What was that? You have something to throw in? Okay. So here's the thing, guys. You know what I think? I think Ruth needs to go. I think not all MCs are bad, but some of the members do bad shit. And I think the prison system needs to be reformed, MC. And you know that. Hey, you know where I stand, dude. And one thing about me is I don't back down from my convictions. I fly my rebel flag, and I tell you all to fuck off. Now, don't go to France. We're fucking out. Roll us out, Optimus.
Autobots, lick my ass.